Alright guys, welcome. It's gonna be a new year, 2006. We're gonna kick it off with some higher stakes than we played last year. Just to give you guys some information that I clearly did not have prepared, but I'm gonna immediately look this up for you. Just to give you guys some information, in 2006 I played 500,000 hands, which is much more already, so I'm grinding a lot. There's going to be 300,000 hands of 510, 100,000 hands of 1020, so lots of big pots coming up there. We're going to start with 3.6 though, which is the lowest stakes I've grinded that year. So we've seen a pretty quick progression. 2004 definitely started battling the 1-2 streets a little bit more, but became a regular at the start of 2005. Up until the summer, I started playing 2-4, 3.6, and then near the end, we even had some 5-10 hands, even some 10-20 hands, which I probably shouldn't have been in yet, but was anyway. Story of my life. So, the story of 3.6 this year, you see the first hand that we play is going to be on the 1st of January. Do never let a day of grinding go by. As you can see, we also have a new office. I will post pictures on my Instagram, which I do a lot, by the way, so check out the link for that in the description if you want to see some behind the scenes stuffs and also highlights from the stream that are only 20-30 seconds, so that we don't really make you know, new YouTube videos about or whatever. It's gray on gray on gray on gray, so I hope that you guys enjoy this. It must be very soothing, you know, makes you tired when you look at it. So these are the top 50 hands of $600 no limit, Mr. Wiefer, and the Liar, also a big regular on PokerStars over the years. I'm really hyped because this is the time when I started playing EPTs. I've had already been to London, even though I was a complete pleb when I went to London. I did not know a thing. And the early days in January, I went to EPT Copenhagen. That's where I started hanging out with Check Hills and Hellingol, and we really started making each other better. And what I really don't understand is like something that I've never realized, how much I improved during that time, because we had a crew. We had people who grinded a lot, people who had very different strategical components. I was very aggro, six-handed. Helling was an absolute maniac heads up. Check Hills was a very smart player full ring, so I think by combining some traits of our game, we really improved a lot together. So I think it's really good to be among like-minded people, people who are interested in poker, and you can find that on any type of forum these days. But I definitely probably should have taken more out of that when I was doing those. Yeah. So we're going to jump into hands. So this is the top 50 hands. We have to cover these. I played a significant sample on 3.6. Also, we'll give a cool build-up of the year. I've played 3.6 throughout the whole year. I definitely remember sometimes when you needed a confidence grind, or you've been losing or something, and you just want to step back a little bit, kind of confirm that you're actually good at poker and that sort of thing. I mean, if you can avoid those confidence grinds, it's better, because you just want to keep playing and making as many hands as possible. All right, great betting pattern there from Munoz. All right, decent name. And oh my God, Isildur! Oh my God, and we got a fucking call. Oh. Wow, that's a big fucking pot, by the way. That is a big fucking pot. That pot is over 3 buy-ins, almost 4 buy-ins. You just see, like, this is just the thing that I've been doing, and I really think that you can still do this in some cases. A little bit less so. I mean, if you bet 48 here or check raise, it's obviously 5-7 is always gonna go all the way here. But for some reason, my timing on these was really good in those days. It's just like the best way to just get it all. Thank you very much. All right, obvious, really sick setup. His betting pattern is pretty bad. You can definitely start out, with like 12 here, very drawy boards. The blinds are in, whatever. So a little bit of a setup on the first hand. I really hope that I'm gonna start actually raising these soon. I'm kind of surprised at how long I was limping still. I felt in my mind I was already playing super aggro here. There's definitely gonna be some sets in this video. I scouted out a bit. I don't want to spoil myself, so I don't look at results. I just look at the way the action goes, and I think there's going to be some interesting spots, and there's only a few sets. So, really big shove here. Let's see what we're trying to fade. Tens! Wow. All right, so you see, it does work like a charm. That is a massive C-bet. A massive C-bet, and then the shove. This is pretty much like, all right, You have to think about it this way. If you bet a board like this into how many people? Into 2 others out of position, you probably have a pair, right? Like, how many times do you guys yourself would pick this board to bet ace king ace queen on? I know, not that many. Very important to realize that. So my thinking here, which is what I talk about on the stream a lot too, is there's so many draws. I'm not necessarily that scared of a draw, because this guy raised pre-flop out of position. What am I really going to give him? Like pocket fours, you know? So I'm really not that scared of a draw. Of course, he can have some flush draw combinations, but it's not a huge problem. He's just going to have pairs most of the time. If the 7 comes off, or a 3, or 4, or deuce, or let's say the 8 of diamonds, these are all cards that could destroy my action versus overpairs. So it's not so much that I'm afraid of the flush coming, I'm more afraid of a flush card destroying my action. Because if I really start putting a lot of money in, people will think you have a flush. You know, people will always kind of look at strength, look at what the danger is on the board, and, you know, realize there's a serious chance you have that. So when you have 3 of a kind, I feel like shoving here, kind of representing a draw, works really well. This guy kind of states his hand. I would really like to see a check with this hand, because then there's just going to be a lot more bluffs betting into him. And then when he check raises, he actually looks weaker than when he leads. So it's all good though. Aha, ha! No 2 hours this time. Of course, we saw some brutal hands last time, but it will be all good. Baby Grand, me and him got into a lot of it. Oh wow, this is not the best 3-handed game in town, boys. 3-betting Hellengol. Really good to see that I start 3-betting hands like this. You could definitely flat this hand, but I think 3-betting is really good. That is quite a significant C-bear. C-bear? All right, Captain. That's a quite significant C-bet there with the 116. Don't really think it matters much against Hellengol. But I do think that Helling is triggered, used to be triggered by small bets. We've spent days grinding next to each other, both playing different tables, grinding, watching at each other's games. So I clearly have some very player-specific reasons to bet this. This is obviously a really good card. I really like the fact that I check. Now comes the question. Against a player like Helling, who's very aggro, who responds to weakness, I think that a check call is really good here. I might have a hand like pocket 8s, pocket 9s. If I shove, I kind of close the door on him and I release him. I kind of take away his space to make a move. Oh! Nice, nice. I very much like that. And of course, we're going to call the river. Draws miss. He could have floated. Knowing Hellengol, honestly, could value bet with worse. So it's just easily going to be a call. And we lose the 3-5 suited. Not a bad call. I think I was pretty upset. Probably was pretty upset with him back then. But, you know, 2 egos battling at it. People are going to be upset. Yeah, interesting though. Limping along here. Start raising these plays. Shani, I used to think that he was a regular. But he just played a lot. And that's what we talk about too. It's really funny actually. It's really a point that I run into a lot when I stream. Sometimes people recognize the name and they think, wow, you know, I see this guy play all this 2K, 1K tournaments. He's a total boss. Of course, I agree. Like, if you can play tournaments like that, in some sort of way, you're going to be a boss, right? I always hate it when people talk about, like, this idiot that I played against. But think about it. When you play the 10K WSP main event, and there's somebody who did not make his money playing poker, but he has the money to buy in a 10K event as a hobby, he must be doing something right, okay? I like playing pool. If I go to a pool cafe and they have a 10K buy-in pool tournament, I'm not going to play. So I always think it's very derogatory the way people kind of, as if everything revolves around poker. It's gotten a little bit better over the years, but it's been a huge pet peeve of mine. However, people do always think that if people play high buy-ins, they're immediately good players. That's not true. Poker is a very open game. You just need to have the money. It's not like you qualify for a 10K tournament because you have amazing results. I think that sometimes people also give too much credit to people that play higher stakes because they're like intimidated, even though they shouldn't be, you know, always, and not in every case. I think Shani is a good example for me for that. It's pretty tough to play. He's always super aggro, but all right, so we got 7s. 1860, I think you can only call here. You could still represent some flush draws, you know, or like some ace-king hand, perhaps. I mean, it's kind of hard with this pre-flop action and limping, but who the fuck knew back then anyway? So he check raises, he bets 200, easy call. Why? What is the reason here? What is the reason here? Somebody in the comments might say the reason could be that we don't want to see a heart. But if he has hearts, he's calling anyway in this pot, you know? I mean, he's getting 2.5, he's getting more than 2.5 to 1. He's almost getting the odds to just call with the flush draw. So, I think that flush draws are just going to call anyway, so you don't change that result. What if he's bluffing? What if he has king jack, you know? What if he has ace king, ace jack, and he's overplaying his hand? He has a legitimate chance to just toss it away here. So, absolutely horrendous fucking raise. This is another clear story of you got something, I got something, let's go all in. What could also very much well be is that, you know, this is also a mistake that you could make when you're downswinging. You could honestly think to yourself, all right, you know, you kind of want to secure pots and shit. It's very toxic, but it happens when people are downswinging. Or when they're upswinging, honestly. Because that's called wind tilting, when you think, of course he's going to have something, and you overplay a hand. That's absolutely unsmart to do. Cool. We do win it against ace queen though, so we do get called. We do get called, yeah, but it's really bad raise. Be mindful of that. There's absolutely no difference. The only difference between calling and raising is that when I raise, I lose his bluffs. Only difference. I lose the same amount against aces, queens, flush draws, anything. Very bad. All right. Let's see, Lyric all in. So we have Mr. Liquid Frost here, Lyric. Wow. And yes! All right. Okay, so we saw a bit of passive play in the previous years with suited aces. I'm really starting to recognize the value of 3-betting hands. This is something that was considered pretty spewy back in the day, or at least aggressive. And I really like to see that in a lot of the spots where I pick aggression is something that I would do now. So I would pick this hand also to 3-bet here, which I very much like, you know, because there's been some big pots that I've been wondering to myself, did I play too aggressive? How was my play back then? And then when I look back on it now, I realize I really like what I did there. And because I wasn't studying much, or people weren't really using trackers as much, some people were. I actually remember, it's funnily enough, that Lyric was one of the first people to use Poker Tracker. When I first saw it, I thought it was ridiculous, honestly, to use statistic programs. But, you know, I'm more of the cowboy type. Immature. I haven't always been the best poker professional. Anyway, really good to see that I pick hands like this for it. Yeah, just want to say that. He calls ace-9, obviously perfect dream flop. C-bet's way too big. We talked about this last time. For your value bets, for your value hands, it works better to bet a little bit smaller. Also, and it works better for your bluffs as well, because this is a really scary board, right? If you have pocket eights, you're just gonna toss them. Pocket tens, the same thing. Why is my face so fucking itchy? I just watched Japan versus Belgium. Maybe that's why. So excited, my whole face is on fire. I'm having allergic reaction. All right, so turn betting big. We're very deep though, so I will say that. We're probably up against a fun player, and this is the only way where we're gonna get the full Monty. Yeah, you see, even with this like oversized betting pattern, we still have to overbet to get all his chips. He does end up calling. And he has ace-6 offsuit. I mean, you know, there's no difference between, honestly, there's no difference between ace-10 and ace-6. If you had ace-10 of spades here, the call would look much better, and, you know, the hand strength is the same because I'm not value shoving ace-8. So, the relative hand strength is the same for him. I would highly, I don't know, mates, maybe, you know, I did play pretty aggressive, so, cool. Okay, cool. So we start raising a bit. This is in March now, so probably progressively aggressive. I actually think, guys, that in March, this might have been played from Las Vegas. Yes, you have to understand, you know, people go to Vegas, they have fun with friends and stuff. When we first went to Vegas, all we want to do was play poker. We went out, of course, we went to some clubs, we went to some things, whatever. we partied, we went to restaurants, but we played live poker, and when there were no games, we played online a lot, and we just ordered drinks, food. It's there with the 2 Swedish guys, an American guy, and a Finnish guy. So we just had so much fun there. And in March 2006, I was just battling a lot online. So you know, it's hard to kind of resist to keep doing that. So good to see that I pick more aggressive approach with hands like Ace 9, Jack 10 suited. You know, I feel like you can represent still more pots with those. There you go. This is just a board that if you limp, they're going to give you less credit. And limping, of course, means just calling pre-flop. They're going to give you less credit on boards with high cards because the more you raise, the more people think your hand is relatively stronger, which is true. So by raising pre-flop, you have a bigger chance of taking pots like this down. Oh! This is a good barrel card. And why is this a good barrel card? People ask sometimes, why do you decide to barrel on certain boards? And barreling, of course, means betting, like betting the flop, the turn, and the river. So, you know, if you bet the turn, the flop, and the turn, it's a double barrel. If you bet the flop, the turn, and the river, it's a triple barrel. I'm laughing because last week I tried to explain C betting or 3 betting, and I fucked up the explanation. Like, how fucking bad is that? I've been a poker pro for 14 years, and I'm like, people not always know what a 3-bet means. Let me explain it to you. And then I proceed to just completely fuck it up. So, let's go over something really important. If you want to know why something is a good board to barrel, why do you continue bluffing? Think about what you're supposed to have, what your opponent is supposed to have, usually. It's fine. It's fine to do usual. There's going to be exceptions. What you usually have, and how does the board develop for both of those ranges? Think about that, right? So let's go over this hand. So I raise pre-flop. It comes king 4-3. Because I raise pre-flop, I'm going to have king jack, king queen, ace king a lot in my range. Usually, you can discount ace king from this player because people re-raise with that pre-flop or 3-bet. So this board is favorable for my range because I have more kings that I can raise. King 10 suited even as well. So that's why I have an advantage of this board. That's why I can continuation bet it and get a lot of folds or get value. When he calls, he can still have hands like 9s, 10s, 8s, 7s, 6s, 4x, all that sort of thing, right? Maybe some ace 5, ace deuce. So you can kind of discount hands like queen jack, ace queen. Now comes the queen. What hands can I have? I have probably more suited cards, right? Like ace jack of hearts, ace 10 of hearts. I have ace queen, queens, queen jack, queen 10, king queen for top 2, all that sort of thing. So this queen is also better for my range than it is for his. Because first of all, it makes me more pairs of queens. It makes me more 2 pairs, more sets than for him. And I still have more kings than him from the flop, from pre-flop raising. We also know that his range is going to be a lot of 5s towards like 10s. This is a very bad card for those type of hands. So now you have it. I gain equity on this turn because I have an open and straight draw. But I will say that I would bet 10-9, ace-jack, ace-10, all the same here. So this is a good card for my range. It's not a good card for his range. I can credibly represent the card because of my pre-flop raising. So now you want to bet. So that's kind of how you have to go through it, okay? That's a very, very important thing. He calls, river's a 9. Oh my god, ship the nuts in his face. 300s, I don't mind this. Again, I think that this would have been a very bad overbet spot because we talked about, you know, our opponent saying like, oh, he probably has it. We have to be honest, in this case, he probably does have a king or better because he called the turn. Which is funnily enough, if this 9 was an 8, I would not continue betting because by now it's very likely he has a hand like king, jack, and queen. So we just bet. He raises, we call, he has king, queen. So I do think that my range is too strong to overbet here. Very sick run out for him, honestly. But interesting hand. Interesting hand, especially game flow wise. And when you think about, you know, what kind of boards you want to barrel. Okay. Alright, so let's go through this one pretty quickly. 2 people call. At this point, guys, there's king, queen, queen. When 2 people call, I mean, somebody could have king jack and somebody could have a flush draw, but most of the time somebody just has a queen. So yeah, by now you know for sure. I really hope I just shove this river. You see, I think this is a value cut. I think this is a value cut. Yeah. They both have a queen? What the fuck, dude? Well, okay. I don't know. I think that shoving was alright too. I guess this worked out better in this case. Interesting though. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think if this guy has a bigger stack, I think that's kind of the key in this hand. If this guy has like 300, 400, you just need to go all in. But like this bet covers one dude anyway, so different too. If this guy was over here, then betting smaller is better because he's first to act, so he doesn't really consider him as a danger anymore, which makes betting bigger better. It's kind of, you have to think about dynamics like that, you know, because if you make this mistake in a cash game, well, I'm not saying this is a mistake, but let's say you do something, think about this. You always have to maximize your value and make the cheapest bluff possible. If you bet, let's say you play 5-10, and you kind of tweak your bets to where you bet 3 big blinds more every time you value bet, that could make you $800 more in a week. Think about it that way. You know, the differences are massive. It's so important to really nail down what kind of value you think you can get. So that's why I'm kind of hammering down on that, and I really think about bet sizes, because even for now, it's really important. All right, so okay, you know, we've seen some passive ace king plays. Definitely lost the passiveness. A lot of legends at this table. This is check kills that I was talking about earlier that I went to Vegas with. We got a cold call, so we're kind of disregarding this guy's range. Probably a really bad board to bet. Please don't do it. Really bad board to bet. I feel like when people cold call here, they're gonna have queens, jacks, tens, nines. It's just such a massive part of their range. Interesting. Just fucking firing, man. You gotta respect it. Oh, we got sucked into it. Kings. Oh my god, 25%. What were our odds? You see? You see? We had clear odds to call, and people sometimes really get sick. But you know, if we give him kings here, that's kind of honestly best case scenario. Apart from him having queens or jacks, you know, it's best case scenario for us. So too bad. Too bad, too bad. Too bad. It's kind of spewy though, I have to say. The flop bet's really spewy there. Okay. Alright, we're gonna do it with a 5x. No problem. Check, check. King on the turn. 72. Jesus fucking Christ. You okay? No, 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 no. Oh my god. Please have clubs. Yes! Yes! What a gangster. Oh my god. Oh, blocks the 9 as well. Easy peasy, Bo Rich. Get the fuck out, dude. Showers, mate. Oh. That is fucking crazy. What a crazy shove. I mean, I sniffed it out, I guess. I can say whatever I want about that. Like, it seems very scary, but, you know, realistically, King 9 has almost the same value as King Jack. Possibly even King Queen, because people aren't just going to punt off King Jack like that. So it's very polarized, right? Again, very good, very bad. Seeing I block a king, he checks the flop. Like, if you're going to check the flop, to slow play and pot control, would you really just tank it in on the turn? Why not just bet the flop turn river then? You know what I mean? So, I mean, you see me do this move a lot with really strong hands because I'm like, probably has a king. I don't know, sniff this one out. Nothing you can say about it. The old, well, it worked argument. 4-5, raising, I like it. Hey! Yo, is this right the hand after or something? Let's see. This one is 9 o'clock in June. 9 o'clock in the morning. This one is 7 minutes later. Alright, let's see. Oh, this guy was not having a good day. I mean, I have no idea if I win or lose the spot, but... Okay. 48, good, I think, good. A lot of people think like, alright, I'm just gonna take it easy here. I'm gonna check, I'm gonna pot control. My hand is not that great. But then the turn is a jack, and then you check again, and then they check. And then the river's a 10, and then you're like, and you check again, and they bet and you fold, right? Doesn't that happen a lot, even when you think about it? So I think what's really important in these situations is that you deny them the chance to hit overcards and bluff you off on bad boards. It's also less likely that they're going to raise you on a dry board like this. So a hand like nines is not going to, you know, push you off your hand here, which means this is just kind of like a semi-bluff. It's a semi-bluff that has a lot of different uses, actually. So I think it's really important to be able to bet hands like this. It's a pretty good card in a way where you pick up more equity. Something that we should realize, though, is that it's a bad card when it comes to his range. If he has 9s, 10s, 6s, 5s, he's probably not folding. If he had 7x, he's probably not folding. So a card like a king, honestly, a king or an ace would have been much better to bet here. Oh, we check. Check! Interesting. All right. Okay. Not bad. Okay. Can definitely go for check call. Maybe somebody, you know, if they have king queen, the hand plays at this point a lot better check calling. It's only one card to come. And of course, the patented overbet. Who says he sealed or invented that thing? Get the fuck out of my way, Victor. And he calls. Now, why would you call it flop? Why would you call it flop? That is fucking tragic. What is this? What the fuck is this? Oh yeah! Oh yeah, 2 overs in the backdoor straight draw, mate! Fucking 2 pair, backdoor 2 pair draw. Sorry, my face really itchy. I just drank a cocktail that I'm probably allergic to, so. Oh my god. And then this is a perfect card. This is a perfect card for him to represent as well on the turn. Because once I check here, I'm most likely just gonna have a c-bet as a bluff that has to fold the turn. Wow, this is tragic. Tragic, tragic. I like the sizing though, fuck it. He's gonna make some sets, some 2 pairs, but... Wow. Okay. Okay. Oh my god, this 3-betting. These hands are fun. Everything is a fucking 3-bet and action and overbets. Here we go, guys. This is where the fun starts. This is where the fun starts. 180. Oh! Wow, you didn't see this much, the 4 bets. Alright, this is pretty nasty. This is not a hand where you can peel. It has to be at least suited. Makes a 3% difference. 3% difference. So that's a 6% difference in equity total. Think about that. Think about that. Because if it's 50-50, let's say, and you gain 3%, he doesn't have 50 still. He has 47 now. I mean, think about that. Your equity improves 6% total as opposed to his, you know? Alright, please flop a monster, make somebody cry. Alright. You might be wondering, how the hell is this pot gonna go get big? That makes 2 of us. Let's watch the action. Oh god. Oh god, this is some gangster fucking bluffs though. I will say that. Oh my god, 210. It's not like the fucking guy checked or anything. Oh yes, don't delay the pain. Ace. Oh man, what's crazy here? The fact that I shove or that he bets 210 with the top boat in a 4-bet pot. This guy was like, fuck it. I'm gonna do something he's never gonna see coming. Yeah, nice hand, mate. Show win percentage. What was my win percentage, actually? 100%? Wait, but I could hit running 9s. Yes, you could. For chop, indeed. That's true, because then you both have 4 of a kind with an ace as a kicker, but the chances of that are less than 1%. Oh. Alright, I definitely don't mind this YOLO play, but okay, let's really examine this. If you think he could fold, why not just call? If he doesn't have the ace, he's probably checking the turn, right? If he has king queen, he's gonna give up. Especially if you call on this board. But this fucking bet sizing, man. This is just too crazy people at work here. Born to Dog Baby, Liquid Poker. Legend as well. Played very high, very good player. Cat. Very smart guy. Kind of an interesting spot. This kind of reminds me of the Maria Ho hand that she played at the tournament, I think in Germany it was. Where she got deep. This is a spot you want to avoid. You either want to go all in here and take the money that's in the middle, which is quite significant. Fuck. It's quite significant, so, you know, you see you win 20 big blinds, which is a decent chunk, honestly. You win 20 big blinds, you don't have to play a hand out of position. Everybody's less than starting stack. So you win 20 big blinds, you wager 100, and yeah. I think this is a pretty clear all-in, to be really honest with you. But okay. But okay. Call. Oh, wow. Stars Nuts does it. 204. That's a pretty casual bet. Shove. Okay, maybe. Definitely in. Alright, let's see what we're up against. It's gonna be some like queens. Yeah, okay. Okay, so easy win there. Lots of equity on the flop. 94%. What the fuck, dude? Oh, that, like, this is the running Jack 7 right there. Yeah, pretty bad pre-flop call. I think that, you know what the problem is? Like, you also don't close the action, right? This guy, if this guy shoves, well, in this case, you have a very easy call, but he's in the middle as well. So if he calls, are you really going to peel? He can shove, push you out of the hand. This guy can limp raise, I don't know. There's just too much stuff that needs to happen behind for this to be good. There's this guy as well. I think that you should really get used to shoving or folding in these spots. So, like I said, it really reminds me of the Maria Ho hand. She got in a really tough spot with tens. Not really dissimilar to this one, but the board was all hearts. And she made a very controversial fold with a set on the flop, which leads you to think, why are you calling anyway? But you just gonna, even if you don't flop a 9, of course. Like, think about this. What if it comes 8-6-5? 8-6-5, 200. Now what, right? So we win a big one there, though. Ah, raising from the small blind. That's what we like to see. Check raise, pretty decent, especially out of position. Draw on board. Bet, bet, bet. Call, raise! Oh my god, thank you very much. That's a very debatable. It's a pretty debatable call on the turn, I would say. It's not so much that where you think, am I good or not? It's more so, you know, what kind of rivers are going to be trash to call on. And in that case, it would be almost anything. And as you can see, you could be dead already as well, which happens more often than you think. You know, when I what happened pre-flop here? Did I bet? I raised pre-flop, check the flop. Now this is good, you see, because what we said earlier, normally when you have a hand like ace king, you're not betting these boards. So you don't want to get into a situation where anytime you check, you're going to give up the hand. So how do you protect that? If you know that there's a group of hands you're usually going to check fold this flop with, like ace jack offsuit or something. If you're going to check fold those hands, you need something that's strong to protect that, to not become predictable. So what you want to do there is what I do here, and that's check the nuts. Check the nuts, check a hand like 8-6, check raise, and an added advantage here is that you can blow up the pot on a very scary board and get value. Obviously, perfect run out for me. I think that I'm very debatable on his raise on the river, but probably should just call it because I'm super polarized here. I either have a set or a straight or nothing. So what are you really raising against to get value from, right? Right, guys. Flat. I need to. Oh my god. Grappig. Really deep. Yeah, I think calling is fine. Oh. Please just fucking flat. Don't get this shit in. What do we make most money against? Ace queen barreling it off. You know, a hand like whatever. Say something that I beat. Those hands barreling it off. Are better hands than me gonna fold when I raise here? No. Well done. And now, like now, what is the spot? Tell me. How comfortable are you shoving? Should you just check here? Probably. But then how many bluffs can he still have on the river? Do you just check behind here and then fold the river as he shoves? You see the predicament that we get ourselves in a few of these spots? It's so important to have like a clear understanding of what your raise achieves. Yes, your hand looks great. You have a fucking king high flush draw on top pair, but your kicker is kind of weak. Big difference if you do this with ace king of spades or king 10 of spades. So you're just getting yourself in a position where you make your opponent's hand so strong that he gets with on the turn that you get yourself like, okay, what do I do now? Do I check? Do I fold if he shows the river? I hate this spot. You see, this is... It all works out, kids. It all works out. Yeah. I have to say, though, quite frankly with you, I really love that I checked the turn. So, at least I don't like the raise anymore. Not even because of what I did in the later series. But at least I recognize the spot here. I recognize that checking works better for my hand. What works even better is if you just make it smaller here. So like, you know, 285. It's not too big, but 285 would have been, you know, better. because it would make more sense as a bluff. He can peel it lighter as well, maybe to float some hands. Interesting though. Very interesting. I didn't really make a different category here for the heads up hands of 2006 because 3-6 I barely played heads up. I played a lot of 5-10 and 10-20 heads up, so we're definitely going to be looking at that. So the biggest sample yet to come on 5-10. Okay, so we raise this out of position. Oh, this is inverted button shit still. Okay. So inverted button, like we talked about last time, small blind was out of position. This is the way it should be in tournaments. In cash game, of course, they changed it to the button being the small blind. So this is a very comparable spot to the small blind versus the big blind in tournaments. And in those spots, I would advise you to limp Queen 9. I saw some questions in the comments on how I would play that. So I'll give you, whenever I see some in heads up situations, I'll give you guys a hint on what I feel you should do in and out of position. Which is mostly, you know, which still happens in cash games now. Where the big blind has position and the small blind doesn't. So, but that's, of course, when you're 300 or more people, not heads up anymore. Have to bet this flop, raise, you can peel. Okay, you should call. What now? What the fuck? What is this shit? Like, whatever happened to letting your opponent bluff? God damn, makes me mad. What now? What now? You happy now? What does this achieve? Like, what do you think King Jack is gonna be like? Let's call. Let's see it. No, GG. G fucking G. Alright, this is quite debatable, but guess a 10 on the turn he would have paid it off too. Yeah, this is pretty sick, but you know what? You catch my point though. Alright, this definitely raised from small to big blinds. Is this right after this fucking hand or what? Let's see. This is 2nd of August, 7 in the evening. Oh, this is half an hour later. Wow, this was a battle. This was a battle, guys. Ooh, nice. 36, 72. Definitely, you can see a 3-bet on the flop here. You see, because 1-bet, 2-bet, 3-bet. Could be if you raised. Bet 72. You see, now you're in an awkward spot too. Yeah, this is awkward, because now you just kind of represent a flush. Love the big bet. I love the big check raise though. And we shove, and we get called by a lower flush than props. Might I just point out that the fact that an ace or a 6 makes a straight as well? This guy really knew. He knew. He was like, oh no, I got this motherfucker dead to rights. Wow. That deserves a note. Meat City we see a lot. I forgot who he was. Alright, so raise with King Jack, pretty standard. Oh yeah, I'll keep in mind to not go through the hands as quickly. I think I've been better about it this week. I read only 1 or 2 comments about it, but still. Make the nuts, easy bets, raise, call. Why raise? If this guy overplays Ace Jack, let him. If he has a hand like Jack 9 and he wants to be fancy, let him. He's just lucky that he has something. See, it kind of makes me mad. Really value cutting myself. I'm really shutting the door on a lot of bluffs there. Hope you guys see the recurring theme as well. It's important for you guys to take home. Alright, so just fine. You can definitely raise these sometimes. I do really like limping with a hand like 9-8 as well. It plays really well post-flop, so, you know, it doesn't really matter to give hands a free look. Bet big, I like it. Bet really big, I like it. Board is heavy. Our hand needs some protection, and this is a very clear value bet. Off 3 times pot. Oh, Lord, come on. Please be safe. Oh, the value bet, though. Oh, the value bet. 3 times pot all in. All the draws miss. Definitely a lot better to do this than on a card like, you know, like a king, perhaps, you know, where people make more 2 pairs. Everything that I could be barreling that isn't a strong hand misses, which is fucking great. But this is pretty light, though. This is pretty light. He has some decent blockers, I will say. I will say. Very interesting. 2.5k pot. I really like that the pot sizes are getting bigger. The biggest stakes that I played this year was 25.50. Kind of a train wreck. We're definitely going to go over those hands. I think there was a lot of heads up hands in there. I think I had one session pretty much where I dusted off like 80k or something. So, dusted off. That sounds. Hestig Jeften. Wait, isn't this guy still a known player? 35. Really good flop. So, he limps. Yeah, he limps. We raise it in position. Can definitely do that. We can call limp raises with this hand. Plays very well post flop. Fine with checking or raising it. And then he leads out to us. We raise. Alright, both fine. Okay. Okay. Alright, you got something. I got something. Let's do it. I don't mind this though. But what do you have? Oh, that's brutal. 72% favorite. It's actually not that bad, is it? Okay, we can hit an ace, a 9, or an 8. It's not that bad if you put these hands across each other. Like, how many times would you see this hand and think to yourself, oh yeah, I think I win this little, you know, almost, you know, 1 out of 3.5 times? 2.5 times? How often do you think that? It looks a lot more dead than it is. There you go. Nice little spike there, you fucker. Okay. So even though there was a lot of nicknames available, Lee let his creativity shine and went with Lee 69715. Okay, okay. Call. You know what would be smart here? Think about this. We're gonna get a little technical. If you're an Omaha player, this is very important because you're limited to the size of the pot. So if you have a strong hand pre-flop, you need to get it as big as you can. This guy calls 18. If we're gonna raise, there's a very likely chance that he's gonna go all in, right? So what we should have done is make it 30 more, half of his stack, added on top here. So we should have made it 48, because then if he calls, he goes all in. We have the betting option again. You have the betting option when something counts as a full raise. So let's say we make it. Let's say we make it 40 more. Let's say we make it 58 here. The raise is 40. It comes back to him. He can only make it 21 more. Because it's less than a full raise, it doesn't count as a raise and it doesn't leave me an option. Repeat that a few times if you have to, because this is a very important thing, especially in bounty builders and PLO, when you want to think about how you can push most people out when you want to. And you can also make this a very cool way of bluffing, because in PLO sometimes when I thought I had a decent hand, I would do this, and then the button would be a good player knowing that if this guy went all in, I was just going to come over the top and he'd be pushed out of the hand anyway. So then they don't want to waste their $48. Just an interesting thing to think about. I don't think it matters much here. You see, because now he raises for 13 more, but I don't have an option because it's not a full raise. It's only a full raise if it's at least the last raise. And, you know, in this case, the last raise would be 48. Yeah, got it. Nice. Fucking Einstein over here. 150. Alright, this is a little bit dodgy, but we should be good. Wow, that's loose. It's very loose because how often am I bluffing in this hand? Because there's no... If I bluff and he folds, I still have to beat this guy, right? So if I have a hand like King 10, I'm in poor shape. So this is super, super spewy. Super spewy. Wow, nice holds. $1,300 pots. Very interesting hand from a mechanical point of view, I think, for you guys. 24. Oh my god, it's so fucking... So nice to watch. Just like way more aggro. Big bets. Alright, so this is pretty much... Like, I really love this. This is just like, okay, I bet the flop, you have an ace. Good luck. Good luck, senor. 500. Calls. Oh my god, what a value bet. Overbet when the flush gets there. It's also nice that people will have less spades in their hands when you bet this big. So, because I bet so big, his range is very much defined towards an ace. This is really good value betting, though, I have to say. This is really being in tune with what's happening at the table, so... Yeah, nice. Thank you. You know, just giving you a little pat on the shoulder there. Huh? Huh? Easy defense. Alright, flop is straight. Let's go through this one a little quick, unless there's interesting betting stuff. I think we can just shove here. He's just gonna show up with ace-x a lot of the time, and we do. Just don't, you motherfucker. Don't you fucking boat me. Daily quads. Daily quads. The life of iDonnie123. Alright, nice. Not much we can do here. Not much we can do. Especially on a dry board like this, I will assume that people are just going to get in ace-10, ace-jack a lot on the flop, right? Sorry. Here. At this point, people are just going to get in their hands. You don't really want to give up any equity against some random fucking bluffs there. There's Lee again. Okay, bet, raise. Probably just shove. Call. Interesting. Interesting. Giving a lot of free cards to hands that could just be fooling around. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I mean, at this point, you can't fold. Wow! This is some next level shit. I'm not gonna lie, this is some next level shit. I'm not sure if it's good. I'm not sure if it's good, but it's next level. Tell me it's not next level. It doesn't work. Wow. That's a pretty big call, actually. So he has to assume that I'm turning a hand into a bluff. So he has to assume I'm doing something like making an advanced bluff. It's interesting. I mean, you know, he only has to be right. Pot kind of fucks it up. He only has to be right a little over 1 out of 5 times. Under. Not bad, bro. Not bad. Good call by him. I think that... Oh, Radiohead's also regular from Liquid Poker. Yeah, start raising these, please. Thank you. I mean, they paid off so well. Doesn't even seem to matter. 72 from Radiohead. It's a shove. Alright, so we see a recurring theme. There's a draw on the board. We go for it. Uh-oh. There's a draw on the board for sure. Oh, the sweats. Nice, so we do hold. It's a bit of an overplay, I feel, though. But, I don't know. I just seem to get it in a lot, so maybe not. Maybe not. These full ring hands, I feel like... Ah, there we go. Stop this fucking limping, finally. When was this? 14th of September. Doubts! Ryan Doubts. Look at that. Awesome. Ryan Doubts. And we call 3-bets really easy. Ooh. Oh, come to Papa. Wow, okay. Alright, calm down there, cowboy. Slow down there, you know. This is definitely a spot where you just need to call. It's just... You're not bluffing enough here, and... Also, you're so locked up, you just want the guy to hit an overcard. Check. I think a check would be in order. He calls. Okay, that's great. 9, very easy card to shove and ship it to pop. I just saw the fucking chips move and I fucking knew it. Fucking starts nuts. God, it makes me so mad. Alright, that's pretty rough. That's really rough. That is really rough. Alright, last hand of the video. Be there. Legendary TJ Bentham, one of the best regulars ever, I would say. Really need to 3-bet hands like this. You can't really flat. You have 4 players behind you. Strongest position at the table raise. I think this would even be a bad spot to 3-bet. Probably back then it was okay. Alright, bets, call. Clevery! Thank you. 162. Shoves. What is this? A single club hand or something? Fuck. It's just fucking gross, mate. It's just fucking gross. Nice check by him on the turn, but that's fucking gross. Got punished for playing this hand, though. Like, you just can't. Like, it's really important to note also, like, how strong is somebody's range when they raise? How many people do you have behind you? These are all things, you know. You can't just say... That's why when somebody explains a hand, somebody raised, so I call with jack of clubs. Yeah, so what were the positions? Everything is important. Ranges are dynamic, you know. They change from position to position. God damn, these were some bad hands to end on, but... Alright, I hope you guys liked it. This was the 3-6 edition. This is the lowest that we've played that year, so I think there's a lot of good stuff coming. Some big pots, some really interesting stuff. I think that a lot of themes and situations here that you guys can use in your current style of play as well. Next time we're going to go over the 25 last hands of the year. 3-6, and then we're going to move to some awesome 5-10 action and some 10-20 action. Like I said, 300,000 hands played of 5-10. There has to be some gems in there. To be really honest with you, we're probably going to go to a top 100 hands because I can only imagine how many big pots there were there. I'll definitely pick out all the most interesting ones, take away like the hand against hand kind of thing. I try to keep it very broad though, like when I research that, because I don't want to end up having to spoil myself seeing the results. Thank you for watching. Please, as usual, press the like button. Please press the subscribe button. We put a lot of work in these videos and we're developing YouTube ever so much further. If you yeah, so I mean, the more feedback we get, the more videos we're gonna make. If the videos start doing really well, if we get more subscribers, we might even go to 4 videos a week. Who the fuck knows? I mean, in an ideal world, we're gonna go to 6 videos a week, but it really has to, you know, there has to be some payoff. There has to be like big growth, progression and stuff. So really, please keep supporting me. Keep being vocal about your support as well. Like I said, check out my Instagram page, instagram.lexveldhuis. So just my real name. I post a lot of updates, clip highlights, stories, everything. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next week. Yeah, take it easy. Enjoy the World Cup. Peace!